They recognized that there were certain plants that if you took them would cause your body to produce more liquid through the skin, and that does a number of things. Cooling, yes, because when the liquid evaporates, it cools the surface of the skin, but also it takes material that could be toxic to your body from the skin as well. So we had scientists on the island for ages, yes? So I'm going to show you some of the ones. I remember these have been documented as plants that were used 1600s, 1700s, as I showed you the list. Okay, these are not the uses currently, but I will relate at times to the current use. So here we have what is commonly called sage. It is not Lantana camara, which is the one that has the bright orange flowers. But it's quite related because you can see the similarity in the floral head and also in terms of the structure of the leaf. It's called rock sage because it prefers to live along rocks. And we see here that it was used for heat rashes, fevers, inflamed throats, and to promote circulation, and to relieve muscle tension and aching joints. So again, all of the things that we would expect these individuals to be looking for relief from. So this is one, and we can go to another one. This is black sage. Can you see the hands for those who know black sage? Okay, much better. So black sage is still pretty much alive on the island, which I'm quite happy to see. And it's very likely, you know, the fact that so many of you raised your hands tells me that that biocultural knowledge around black sage is pretty much alive. And the reason why you know quite a bit about black sage is the reason why it's around. There's that close link between knowledge and biodiversity. Okay? So black sage was also used as a sudorific to encourage the body to sweat, release toxins, and for those problems which we're highlighting. Vulnerary. How many of you know that term? One person, two? Okay. So, pardon me. These were used to cleanse wounds and for wound healing. And that would have been very vital to get persons back to work, because if you've got wounds and they're not healing, not only are you experiencing pain, infection, etc., but you know, they're going to need you back out there. So you want to get yourself back into as healed a state as possible. So again, there were many plants that were sought for this role of being a vulnerary, and we'll look at a few of them. Mosquito bush, right? So not well known, so that plant is suffering. And it's true, because when I'm looking for samples of mosquito bush, I can hardly find them. This belongs to the Lamiaceae family. If you crush the leaves, it gives you an aroma very much like basil, or basil if you prefer to call it that. Very aromatic. And it's that aromatic essence is where the medicine is located in these plants. So mosquito bush, as the title, the name of it suggests, is also an insecticide. It's also insecticidal, and it's thought that if you wave it around the room, it's going to, you know, chase the mosquitoes away. That's where it's got its title. But it had lots of other valuable uses. Christmas bush, not of the same family. This belongs to Asteraceae. And I think that farmers tend to consider it a nuisance because it grows quite well. But I noticed that it's growing more along the verges and the roadsides because it's being pushed out. Again, a plant that's not thriving well. How many of you know about Christmas bush? Okay, there you go, not that many. But again, very aromatic. I've done some actual, we call it structural elucidation. I was able to go to Environment Canada all the way to Saskatoon to use their labs. We identified a number of natural products called flavonoids. You're probably hearing more of flavonoids because it's a buzzword when it comes to the whole idea of antioxidants and health. And this particular plant is loaded, and I mean that. I found them, I discovered some new ones, and if not yet published, I think that has already been published. So it's loaded with flavonoids and antioxidants are great for putting you into a better health state. I don't anybody knows this. Anybody who knows that? I see one hand. Oh, I'm shocked. Pleasantly so. Because this is a very diminutive herb. You could walk right over that and not know what you're walking on. It grows very low to the ground. It spreads. If you go home tomorrow, go into your lawn, you're going to find it snuggled between your grasses that you planted there to get your lawn looking green. Yes, it loves to survive. I'm sorry about that. But this is one that they found, so they had to go looking for this, okay? This will hide from anyone. So again, that knowledge had to be there. They knew about this type of plant from their homeland, and they looked for it here, found it. And this was used to help heal wounds. I'm going to touch a bit about how that works. And this is another one, I think that a lot of you know. I see the heads bobbing. Know the physic nut. Belong to that same family, the family with that lovely low spreading herb. They belong to the same Euphorbiaceae family, and they are known for having these healing agents. And again, this population, this enslaved population, turned to this particular family of the Euphorbiaceae time and again, looking for healing agents for the healing of wounds, etc. Yeah. So what is it about this Euphorbiaceae family? What is special about them? I'm sure those of you who know the physic nut, when you break the stem, it does what? Nothing? it exudes what we call a milky latex. Yes? That milkweed, one of the milkweeds, not the one that Sharon spoke of, but one of the milkweeds belongs to the same family. When you break it, that white latex, it contains proteins, it contains enzymes, it contains things that promote the healing process. Yeah, so what is this healing process? For wounds, you need to stop the bleeding, coagulants. You need to stop infection, antibacterial agents. And you need to see the skin coming back together. So you need cell growth promoting agents. All of those are loaded in those latex exudates in this particular family. So these were some supreme scientists for me. You know, this is now known because they're now looking at the wound healing process, and they can tell you that if you want a wound to heal, first thing you have to do is stop the bleeding. You think we all know that? If you want a wound to heal, you must not allow infection to get in there, so you're going to be prescribed antibiotics. If you want a wound to heal, you want things that will promote the healing process. And so that Euphorbiaceae family that we walk by every day, castor oil is one, chock full of medicine, and nobody here, as far as I know, is looking at maybe this group of plants could lead us to alternative therapies that really do work. And that is my point. And this just shows that milky latex of which I spoke. We have a number of them, and there's one in particular that I understand is still being used for healing, and I was surprised to hear that. It's on the next slide, I think. Yes, how many of you know this one? Seaside sage. This one releases a yellow latex. It's not milky, but I understand that up to recently, and when I say that, maybe 1960s or so, grandparents were telling children who were, climbing the hills that they shouldn't. If they got scrapes, they'll tell them, go pick some seaside sage and break the stem and let they'll not call it a latex, maybe a juice. Let that run into the wound and that will take care of you. No need for bandages or anything. Okay? So that knowledge, that biocultural knowledge was alive back then, but how much of it is still alive? We did a survey back in around 2007, and there were only 2 plants that everybody could tell me about. I'll talk about it after, but many of these plants, persons had no knowledge. So we have allowed an amazing resource to disappear. And I'm trying to recapture some of that. So, skincare. Burns, rashes, sores, blisters, ringworm. And I was going to save that slide because I knew everybody would tell me they know aloes. And when I said that there were 2 plants that everyone on the island, no matter where we went, and we went through 8 parishes, aloes was mentioned by everyone. And aloes has been a significant part of our heritage, our bioculture. And even back in the 1700s, from my reading, I understand that aloes was being cultivated by both the Amerindians and the enslaved, and it was being exported to the other islands. So how is it that we don't have a line of aloe skincare? And it used to be called Aloe barbadensis. Why aren't we bringing our tourists here to our aloe plantation, to our aloe labs, to our aloe cosmetic design units, and have them have their own